South Africa was quite fortunate in that we never kind of got the development of a subprime housing mortgage market. So we were actually spared the unfortunate fate of a lot of other countries. Reason for this is, I don't really say necessarily foresight by the central bank, I think just dumb luck. So we managed to avoid that, which meant that coming out of the financial crisis, we actually were in a very good position, and sort of a lot of our corporates were in a relatively good state. So we were sort of spared essentially a lot of the draconian measures which came through on the European and U.S. banks. That, however, though, with essentially the central bank and the financial regulators here, in order to keep up with their G20 commitments as far as regulation, are now essentially working very closely with the European central banks and European regulators and U.S. regulators to actually apply a lot more strict standards on the South African banking model. Now, it's an interesting point because we actually didn't suffer the same fate as a lot of these countries, and for all intents and purposes have a well-capitalized banking system. However, though, this is now, I think it seems like now central banks and regulators want to perhaps err on the side of prudence and are now sort of going ahead with a lot of regulations and rules which essentially are prevalent in the U.S. Now, we obviously are a very different market. We're an emerging market still. I think sort of what classifies an emerging market is a certain sort of less liquidity than what you would find, which actually therefore involves a lot more of a human element within the actual trading and navigation of the space. Now, there's been, within the U.S. and European markets, a lot of the stuff is becoming sort of automated and put on electronic systems. Now, it's very possible to do it in that space because you actually have so many participants basically working essentially and having interest in products. Everyone has some dollar interest. So to actually have liquidity in the US dollar market or in the US dollar swap market, it's quite easy to find someone who wants to buy and someone who wants to sell. In South Africa, this is a very sort of, flavor of the month sort of thing. Sometimes people, everyone wants some risk in South Africa. Sometimes they want to have nothing to do with it. So the idea of actually having that constant liquidity and going to sort of this electronic, transparent system is quite difficult to achieve. So, like I was saying, I think it involves a lot more sort of specialization with sort of the team. So we have actually quite big teams here that deal with it.